to Bad Larry.
Avengers, issue number 1, where it all began, 1963. Roughly 9 years later, June 1972, we achieve issue 100 of the Avengers. The team looks a little bit different, but some of these characters remain the same. And 8 years after that, in July of 1980, we achieve issue number 200 of the Avengers. Cap and Thor look pretty much the same, but Hawkeye has a dramatic change. We've added Beast from the X-Men to the team. We see Warbird here and a lot of other changes in the team. And 9 years after that, or roughly 26 years after issue 1, we achieve issue 300. And the only figure that remains the same from issue number 1 looks to be Thor. Such a dramatic change from issue 200 to 300. The Avengers is the Earth's mightiest hero, the mightiest team. And this cover, I feel, just is a fail. It's also part of the Inferno series going on. It's such an epic event. This issue is 64 pages. And I feel like what we're getting on the cover here, the captain is unappealing in this costume, the US agent costume. You got Gilgamesh, he looks derpy. The only one that's the same is Thor, and then we get half of Fantastic Four. That's why I included the covers for 200 and 100. Those were epic covers. This one I feel is a fail. For example, where is the lower half of Mr. Fantastic? It looks like he's just being farted out by the captain. Where's the lower half of his body? I know that he's stretchy and all, but they didn't even include the lower part of Mr. Fantastic. It doesn't make any sense to me. But welcome back, everybody. I'm your host, Bad Larry, and today we're checking out Inferno Series, Part 21 in the Avengers, issue number 300. And this issue is a doozy. It included 47 drawn pages. Let's check it out. We haven't seen Kang the Conqueror this entire Inferno series, so why not just jump into his timeline? Speaking of timelines, Kang is floating around out of time. Kang notices the demons are destroying reality possibilities. So even though Kang is technically an enemy of the Avengers, he determines that he must try and help them as it serves his own purposes to eliminate the demons from Earth. But Kang cannot find the Avengers that he's familiar with. He sees Captain America, but in a different costume. He finds half of the Fantastic Four, and Kang seems very nervous as these demons are ruining his timelines. And we cut away from his perspective before we learn what he's actually planning to do. Noster has some nasty plans. But first, let's check out what's going on with the Avengers. I've heard of family feuds before, but when you're a family of superheroes, the battle is for real. The creature blowing fire at Sue Storm is actually her son, Franklin Richards, who is inside the armor and under a mental spell by the Humpty Dumpty Nanny, and is directed to destroy his parents. Gilgamesh shows up. His mighty punch does nothing against the advanced armor the Nanny used to fuse around Franklin. The captain takes an opportunity to use his experience to take down the Orphan Maker, while Mr. Fantastic wraps up the Orphan Maker and tries to make a deal with the Nanny. Release Franklin, and Mr. Fantastic will release Orphan Maker. Will the Nanny take the deal? We'll find out in a few moments. But first, we check out what Noster is up to. I find it interesting that throughout this series, Noster has been colored grass green, blood red, turquoise, and now this olive green. One of Noster's minions named Clitus, yes, I know, right, has noticed that inside the red armored robot is a mutant child of immense power. Well, Noster has been on the hunt for these exact type of powerful children. He plans to steal Franklin, and also lets us know he has been playing Madeline Pryor. She will be used for his purposes, but he has to be careful as she is more powerful than he expected, and she's quite recalcitrant. We also learn that Noster has no concern over Sa'im, as Sa'im will be left to linger in limbo, while Noster plans to rule the entire Earth's dimension. Back to the deal with the Nanny. Well, we know the Nanny doesn't follow through with her end of the deal, As Mr. Fantastic lets Orphan make her go and he climbs into Nanny's ship, the Nanny recites some rhyme that sets Franklin off to kill his mom and dad. Mr. Fantastic had planned for this betrayal though. He just needed the Nanny to go piss off out there so he could put all his focus on Franklin. Electricity always mucks up people, and its effect at neutralizing Franklin inside the armor is felt. As Franklin falls to the ground, his mama isn't gonna let that vile Nanny go freely. Nothing like a mother's scorn. Sue Storm uses her powers. I didn't think she had telekinesis, but her force field power works somewhat like telekinesis, holding the Nanny's ship in stasis until she uses all her force to crush it up to bits, the shrapnel falling into the water. Mr. Fantastic checks out Franklin. He's fine, while Gilgamesh notices that somehow the Nanny was able to jettison a decoy and was actually able to escape. While these new Avengers are jaw-jacking about what to call Gilgamesh, an Oster teleports in and steals Franklin away scot-free. Mr. Fantastic can't pick up any teleportation signature. Sue Storm is starting to freak out. Mr. Fantastic knows he may not be able to track the Oster, but Franklin's too powerful. He should be able to track Franklin's power signature. We return to Kang's perspective and we see Kang is about to dissolve away from his timeline. Kang is a real enemy to the Avengers, but in this instance, he needs to find a way to help them, to be able to save himself and his timelines. Kang's last act before he dissolves from this existence is to send the Avengers an enemy to fight, an enemy that will lead these ad hoc Avengers to the location of Franklin, in turn, eventually helping to defeat the demons and save Kang's own ass. Kang has sent a tiny little puppet android doll soldier with its own programmed marching orders. A demon starts effing with the little doll, but this red-winged demon isn't going to stop the little android doll. The little doll's program has led it to the Empire State Building, where it absorbs some of the green demon goo, making this little doll grow in size as well as mask its true form. Atop the World Trade Center, RIP World Trade Center victims, Nostra has Clitus remove the armor from Franklin, which these demons can easily do, when Mr. Fantastic could not do. The demons have limbo cutting energies, allowing them to retrieve the unconscious Franklin as Nostra places Franklin in some demonic roots to be used later as a weapon against the Goblin Queen Madeline Pryor, which uses Franklin's immense power to fully rip open the gates between Limbo and Earth's dimension. Mr. Fantastic and these new Avengers are scanning the city for Franklin with no luck until a huge electric energy release clues them to Franklin's location. Captain America also recognizes the lightning signature. He knows an old ally is about to join them in the upcoming battle. I love how the Fantastic Four's airship can fly, but still uses wheels on the ground. They hadn't considered the thing to hover, but that's okay. The Cap recognition was on point. The God of Thunder is already in the throes of battle, whooping demon asses left, right, and center. Big hammer energy. The Black Knight is in some sort of stasis as well. Thor believes he has basically become the dark blade he wields, but he seems generally okay for now. So Thor creates a little tornado security gate around him, and they return to him later, but for now the team needs to find Franklin Richards. That's the mission. The doll recognizes Thor, knowing Thor will also recognize him, so he reprograms his voice. Kang has programmed the doll to instigate a battle with the Avengers. A car being thrown at them does the job. Thor says, "You throw metal at us, I throw mystic metal at thee." The doll says, "Follow me." The captain thinks following is a trap. Mr. Fantastic and the rest of the team agree the juice is worth a squeeze at this point. The doll is walking through buildings willy-nilly, causing all kinds of debris to fall on the Avengers, but debris is nothing more than a nuisance. Invisible Woman's force field is saving grace for the team right now, but they still must follow the disguised doll through the destroyed Manhattan streets. The Avengers decide they must take to the air, following the doll from the safety of the skies. The doll's mission is nearly complete. He has led the new Avengers to the Demon Hive. Thor realizes the deal. The doll led the team to the Demon Nest. So he grabs the captain and heads to the top of the building so the Avengers can take the offensive against the demons inside. Mr. Fantastic instruments have determined Franklin is also inside the building. The demons on the roof have to discover Thor and the captain's arrival and attack! Thor throws the captain, fastball special! The captain's speed and velocity take out 3 demons while Thor bests the beast that attacked him. Gilgamesh is pumped! The joy of his life is fighting monsters. Here he has plenty of joy. Mr. Fantastic does his best thing, quote, "It's clobbering time." The horde is many. The Avengers are mighty and motivated. Thor, the captain, and Gilgamesh are all whipping demon ass. Sue Storm has found her son, his eyes possessed, his immense power, energizing the Oscar's demon star. Invisible Woman immediately puts a force field around her boy, bringing him back to consciousness. But Franklin's energy output is too powerful. Sue's force field cannot contain him anymore. The explosion frees Franklin from the demon's control, and Sue can finally swaddle her baby boy in her arms safely. The demon star above Times Square explodes as it no longer is being powered by Franklin. This means the gate from Limbo is closed. No more demons from that portal for now. The demons continue to try and fight, but the combined forces of Thor, the captain, and Gilgamesh are too much for these demons to handle. After a very short time, these newly formed Avengers have bested the demons, their bodies strewn along the ground, their energies leaving their demonic bodies. Just when we think the day's battles are done, the building shakes. It's the doll. The doll is causing the building to shake. Thor throws his mighty hammer at the doll, but instead of destroying the doll has doubled in size. Thor immediately recognizes his foe. He has fought this foe in the past. The doll is actually the Growing Man, a minion of Kang. Hitting the Growing Man will only cause him to grow in size until he is the size of a building. Mr. Fantastic stretches to his near max level, which I always wondered what his max would be. Apparently, it's from the top of the now fallen World Trade Center to the west side of New York City, which according to Google is roughly 10 miles, in which he recovers his airship. He needs his little inventions to effectively battle the Growing Man. Mr. Fantastic uses the device on his air car to attack the Growing Man, blasting him over and over with success. No, did he? As Thor and Gilgamesh attack the Growing Man, he's starting to shrink. Mr. Fantastic's device switched the configuration of the doll to now become the Shrinking Man with every blow. A couple swings from Thor's hammer and the doll has disappeared. Mr. Fantastic and Sue take the now awakened Franklin back home, Franklin believing everything to have been a bad dream. Gilgamesh decides to officially join the Avengers team, officially being reformed by the captain, Gilgamesh saying he ain't got nothing better to do at the moment anyhow. Mr. Fantastic reports that most of the city's demons are being reported to be gone. Have these new Avengers ended the Inferno crisis? Well, for now, it's just time to put Franklin back to bed, back in the safety of his home, back in Connecticut. So here are your new Avengers team, the Captain, Sue Storm, and Mr. Fantastic, and Gilgamesh, and Thor. Let me know what you think of this new team, well, new for the issue number 300 back in 1989. The bonus story in this issue is titled The Coming of the Accursed Avengers, which sees Loki on his annual pilgrimage to the dreaded Isle of Silence, a punishment of sorts from Odin for all of Loki's schemes and tricks. Loki is throwing himself a pity party for his banishment from Asgard and schemes up a new scheme, this time involving the Hulk. Loki projects a fake bomb on the tracks, which the Hulk clearly falls for and incidentally destroys the tracks himself. The trained people think the Hulk is trying to destroy them, which is not true, but that is what Loki does. He tricks people. But what the Hulk lacks in brains, he makes up for in brawn and uses his powerful back as a temporary support for the train, saving it. Rick Jones, a good buddy of the Hulk, reads an article about the Hulk and makes a call out to the Fantastic Four for help. Loki, using his magic, diverts Rick Jones's call to the Fantastic Four and sends it to his half-brother Thor, ignoring Thor with jumping to action. So the story goes all the way back apparently to Avengers issue number 1 back in 1963, showing exactly how Loki accidentally created the first Avengers team. We can see by the old school all gold derpy Iron Man armor as well as the appearance of Ant-Man and Wasp. Loki tries to separate Thor from the group, casting an image of the Hulk to Thor, an image Thor recognizes as a trick as soon as his mighty hammer flies through the image. Loki's trap has worked. Thor rucks up carelessly, but Loki has made an ally with these super grip trolls. Loki thinks he has won. Thor uses the power of his lightning to free him of the trolls and then hilariously magnetic current from his hammer to lock Loki to Mjolnir. I thought Thor couldn't fly without using Mjolnir, as in he swings the hammer super fast, he throws it, and then just catches it and hangs on. So are we to believe Thor was swinging this hammer around with Loki attached to it and then flew with it? That's pretty funny. Thor brings Loki back to Earth to show everyone who is really behind all the tricks. Loki had one more trick, making himself radioactive. Uh-oh, the Ant-Man hit the old trapdoor on Loki, locking him in a lead-lined chamber. So at the end of the day, if it wasn't for Loki, there wouldn't be any Avengers at all. What did you think of this giant-size issue? I rated an 84. I thought the story was okay, a bit straightforward, not much drama. I never felt the team was in any real peril, and I didn't get the same feeling that the world was being overtaken by Limbo itself, compared to other issues. The art was still too bright and joyful. I feel the main story was more in line with the Sunday edition of the comics pages versus this epic Inferno tie-in series. And the bonus story, giving us the origin of the original Avengers team from Loki's perspective, well, they had 26 years to put this together, and this is the best they could do? I don't know. Between the art and the feeling of this little mini story being rushed through, it keeps this book overall at a basic B rating. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Like this video and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Next episode, we continue the Inferno series heading back to Daredevil. With Daredevil number 263. Are we going to see Daredevil actually up and alive and doing some action this time? Tune in tomorrow to check it out. Thanks everyone for the support. Peace.